Tell them to make noise, to make noise. Tell them to make noise, to make noise. Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
The people on tire, the people on fed up. For people they suffer, the country don't ganga. No future for the youth, so tramadol and push. Opa, they treat we like we not sober. Yes, don't be here, but mine don't be here. Your boss don't be here. Petrol don't turn boy picking.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Free town.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Bokono kene makailaun.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Makeni pot loko kabia.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. When we soldier them left, right, left, right, left, right, left. When we use my them left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Opa, they treat we like we not sober. Yes, don't be here, but mine don't be here. Your boss don't be here. Petrol don't turn boy picking.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Free town.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Bokono kene makailaun.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Makeni pot loko kabia.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. When we soldier them left, right, left, right, left, right, left. When we use my them left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Power to the people. Why we economy not stable? We not able put food on the table. We don't tire with them variable. Opa, they treat we like we not sober. Yes, don't be here, but mine don't be here. Your boss don't be here. Petrol don't turn boy picking.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Free town.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Bokono kene makailaun.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Makeni pot loko kabia.
Tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming.
Greetings to all my comrades them of the APC. This na the APC online TV platform na the diaspora, the mouthpiece of the diaspora, and me na comrade Awan Kasu. Today na Sunday, the 17th of September 2023. Today we get a new segment where we introduce to the viewers them we na the news bulletin we will bring come to now every Sunday before the start of the show, and probably towards the end of the show we could go now a news bulletin. So as of now, we will start with the news bulletin, and we get all the news that will happen, the things that will happen during the week. We will summarize them for now in a few minutes inside the next segment. So if I can ask the technical team for come up with the news for us, please.
Family una kushe and kabo. We bring to una summary of the weekly news where they come out from the APC Diaspora TV platform. And this particular show, they come up every Sunday from the APC Diaspora TV platform. Now, the first news. Magistrate Bremaja don send 6 protesters dem for September 11, 2023 inside McKinney Correctional Center. The 6 accused people be appear before the magistrate of Bombale District Magistrate Court, that's inside McKinney City. The police charged the accused people with a 3-count charge of unlawful assembly, unlawful possession, and disorderly behavior, contrary to the laws of Sierra Leone. According to the police, the alleged say on Monday, 11 September 2023, they be see 6 people in different locations in McKinney City and engage illegal protest. The police prosecutors then say they arrest the accused people separately around NP area, Rogbane Road, other places them inside McKinney City. Among the 6 accused people, 3 women be beg inside the courtroom the people. The 3 men them not be beg. And the 6 people also, the 3 men them more, the 3 women them more, they all not be guilty. But now the 3 women them not be beg. But the magistrates not be grant them bail and send them all 6 to jail and adjourn the matter on the 18th September, that this coming Monday 2023 for the woman them. For the man them, in adjourn the human matter on the 20th September 2023. And the all 6, you don't send them na remand the people them. The second news. 46 people including 7 women be appear na court for the protest na Waterloo. On the 13th September 2023, a total of 46 people including 7 women and 39 men from various address them inside Waterloo be appeared na Waterloo Magistrate Court na Kinyard inside Waterloo. Salon Police they be arrest them people there so on the 11th September, that this past Monday, in connection with the involvements na the recent protest around Waterloo community. According to the charges wey comot from the Sierra Leone police against the people na offense under the Public Order Acts of 1965, including incitements, riotous conduct, disorderly behavior, throwing missiles, public insults, and provocation. That according to the charges where the police they say na Indian people also gets. Police say they be arrest Boku with exhibits at this particular demonstration where it take place this past Monday, 11 September 2023. They say they be arrest them with stones, old motorcar tires, and placards. Only 46 people where they be arrested, they be identify them as protesters. That's according to the police. And the magistrates don't send them all na Banga Farm Kisitong Correctional Center outside Waterloo community. The matter, the magistrate adjourn them on the 18th September 2023. That's this coming Monday. Third news. Turkish government don't arrest some Sierra Leoneans them na Turkey Istanbul airport with 600 kilograms of kush, jaba, and cocaine drug. Out of the 600 kilogram, now 460 kilogram of kush, 100 kilogram of cocaine, 6 kilogram of jamba, and 5 kilogram of tramadol. The governor of the Istanbul airport, winner Dr. Hagan, and the chief security officer all na the Istanbul airport be make this known to the Sierra Leone ambassador na Turkey, wey na Ambassador Mohammed Hassan Kaisamba. For go know the series of allegations wey they don make about brothers dem wey dey comot from Sierra Leone dey go inside Turkey. And according to the governor of Istanbul airport, he say from 2021 to 2023, na this quantum of drugs they don catch na the Istanbul airport na Turkey from Sierra Leoneans dem. The governor continue and say the Turkish government don open an investigation on dem Sierra Leoneans dey also wey they arrest with this drug. And say the Turkish law go take in course on dem Salone people also wey dem no arrest. The governor further call on the security dem na Lunge International Airport for make dem tighten the security na this airport for let dem not give the country bad name internationally. Fourth news: Sierra Leone police don send the AIG of Port Harcourt Division on indefinite leave, wey na AIG Francis Tawa, for wey e be allow people dem for demonstrate or people dem for protest inside Port Harcourt City on September 11th this year. Na im make Salone police be send this particular AIG with indefinite leave with immediate effects. They say because he allow people for demonstrate inside Port Harcourt. Famulem, the next news wey we get for give una next week Sunday concerning about the protesters wey we get for appear this coming Monday and Wednesday. We get for tell una about the proceedings of that court update day, and also we get for tell una about wetin dey happen inside the APC concerning the dialogue wey get for start the 25th and the 26th this month. And also we get for tell una about the court case of Comrade APC Sheriff and others versus the Inspector General of Police, Famulem. Thank you for tuning in. Join us next week as we bring you credible updates on events happening inside the APC and the country as a whole. Me, na political thinker, head of JUDK Media and Communications Units, credited by Council of APC Media Bloggers, both home and diaspora, brought to you by APC Diaspora TV platform. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, political thinker, and thank you very much to the production team, the background, the technical team. Well, at this we get for now in terms of we news bulletin them where they come to now every Sunday from the APC online TV platform. Once again, today na the 17th of September 2023, and Mina Comrade Owen Kasu. I get me co-host. We get for join me later on when I sweet Bonita. But we get with topic we'll get for can discuss today as we all don't see the news bulletin. We get with topic we'll get for can discuss today, and the topic therefore do with September 11. A sad day for Sierra Leone, another historical day for Sierra Leone, a black day for Sierra Leone. And there's a lot of description about that day, about Sierra Leone. We will get for can discuss today as we topic. I just want to give you a quick one for say we guest we'll get today. I guess everybody know. We will use this platform a few times. Everybody appreciating submissions them, and he didn't also today discuss this particular topic with we. And he's not the person, but the former presidential spokesman, Mr. Abdoulaye Berete. Mr. Abdoulaye Berete don't serve under President Nkrumah in tenure as the presidential spokesman, and currently they live in Canada, and we see the event of September 11, and they can discuss within, how that affects we as a nation, and So make I introduce Mr. Blaberity, like come live. Let's say hello to viewers them. Over to you, Mr. Abdullah Berite, if you can come live, please.
Thank you very much, Comrade Owen Kasu, and Fambul and where they listen both at home in Sierra Leone and across the world. I bring una greetings from Toronto.
Thank you very much. Now we get to the co-hosts. We don't come in, Sweet Bonita. Please, Sweet Bonita, come live and say hi to comrades.
Good evening, Comrade. My name is Sweet Bonita. I'm going to be the co-host for this program this evening. Hope to.
All right, fantastic, Sweet Bonita. So let's go straight into the topic. Welcome to all the viewers then. And as soon as don't join me now, we'll help you for share the link so everybody go able to view this program here so tonight or this afternoon from the United States and Canada. And the topic now September 11. The day, another day we Sierra Leone not going to be proud of at all. But Mr. Berity, waiting are your first reaction to this September 11? Because now a planned demonstration, not so. What's your first reaction to that?
My first reaction now for condemn in no uncertain terms the high-handedness of the security forces, and also for condemn with no apology the government and particularly Mada Bio, because as somebody waiting at the helm of affairs in our country right now, they can say the buck stays with him. He gets a responsibility for make sure say he protects citizens them across the board, not to just people and where they come for praise them, he open the space for them. Then people them we get critical voices them, then they suppress them, then they use the obnoxious 1965 Public Order Act for go against them people and they arrest them, then they use that same law day where them they don't cherry pick for prosecute people them, send people in a jail, send people them on remand. And also, why for always kill people them where they no say things they had now in country, instead of addressing their issues then instead of using a constructive engagement for say yes, top up don't there for electricity, top up now the phone then don't there students and they find it difficult for study, the internet in cost don't become prohibitive, the fuel then just they increase and per win at the country, and they know they even talk to the people them. Things they don't had now the country, rest on now almost 1 million leons rest defense so. The cost of living don't become very prohibitive except for the privileged few. Unless and until we acknowledge, say, these things are real, people and they suffer, then you try for address the root causes them. This thing about responding with force, using the taxpayers' their money we they use to maintain the security force system, with all the rhetoric and threats and way that they give people in the country, that one they know they solve the issue. Una go kill. Una don't kill August 10, 2022. People are not afraid, they still come out for come assert their rights and express their dissatisfaction. So this so don't tell the government say any form of violence no go make them afraid for come and express the way they feel about the government. And when they come for express that, the next thing now for arrest them, send tear gas on them, kill them, then send them on remand, then begin the wasting time for Guna courts. don't get me wrong. Some of us, we believe, say, violence is not the way in our country. We condemn violence in no uncertain times. But I always recall a situation whereby the protesters them, they hold them placard, where them go, the security forces them, some of them will know the rules of engagement, we respect human rights, we see how they connect with the protesters them, no incidents no happen. Then the unfortunate part, the only AIG na puts local, we end up calm, it connects with the young people them, no violence no happen there. At the end of the day, instead of them commend them for that singular action, where it do, the next thing, then use another arbitrary power of indefinite suspension. So this don't tell me, say, whilst we they condemn the high-handedness of the security forces them, the government not serious in any way for address the concerns of Singaporeans them. And we not for tire at all, for continue, for go after this government, make them do the needful, because not to a privilege, then they give Sierra Leoneans them for respect their human rights. The reason being, these rights are enshrined in our constitution. In fact, they are entrenched clauses in chapter 3 of cap 6 of 1991 constitution. We make them very clear, say, the right to peaceful assembly is a fundamental human right. And that right cannot be denied to Sierra Leoneans them under the guise of an obnoxious 1965 Public Order Act.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Berete. Now, the reason this will make we like forget you inside this platform, because you're so constructive and you take the topic head on. And I want to tell you thank you for that. I'll take note of two things then. In your submission, they refer to this regime as the government. That's one. Secondly, we don't get protests them before. The protests they don't get before, we don't see them people they also don't kill. They shoot and kill unarmed citizens. And this September 11 protests, waiting we achieve, or waiting the people of Sierra Leone achieve from this September protest. These are the two things that I take note of from your submission.
The first one, yes, it was very deliberate to refer to the state security as operating under the government. The reason being, the police force, the military, they were all established under the 1991 Constitution. And the 1991 Constitution is supposed to be implemented by a government. Now, it makes the vice president of a country, as per the provisions in the 1991 Constitution, now in are the chairman of the police council. So therefore, we get every right for let we blame the government, because at the end of the day, they get a right to protect every citizen of this country. Now, who country is Sierra Leone? Then what do we achieve? You know, I only wish the players them now country where they parade under the guise of running a state, they're able to understand, say, when people are frustrated, when you push people into the wall, then they bounce back, and any form of intimidation, no, they prevent them from come publicly and express the way they feel about the country and the way that they run the country. At the end of the day, it is very insulting. I don't tell them at one time, me and the former Minister of Information, Rado Soiree, we meet up na AYV. They say we've been raised fuel in price. Now I tell us, say, you know, what's the difference between we own its price from 3,500 to 6,000 leones? I say we give Sierra Leoneans them the respect. We acknowledge, say things are hard. We go right around the country. President Kuruma dispatched me. I go all around the country. In fact, when I reach Kailaung, now Kailaung got Barre, all the chiefs then your submission and reaction to that meeting was, for the first time, we want for increase the price of an essential commodity. We go meet them, we give them the respect, we explain to them the ramifications, and we create a safe space for them for let them ask questions. The opposite with their wire, then an arrogance, then they exhibit, then they take the people and for granted, they're not seeing nothing. Instead, when people then demonstrate, instead of they accept say things they hard for we, then they fail what you call external blame, now then they do. Then go either call the APC saying a terrorist them, as it happened in August 10, 2022. Then go either make say, oh, we not insurrectionist them. Then the most disheartening thing, then go form a phony committee. They say then they investigate, but people and we already don't come and run a narrative about the events. Now then they constitute. That way then will sing from the same hymn where the president they sing. That is wrong. And those are the people then where they even contribute for subvert and circumvent to country and create chaos. But one thing will we achieve is this. The Freetown people and where they say that they run a government and for no say, Al-Bashir and Sudan, they get one of the strongest military in Africa. It gets jets then. It gets military tanks. But what happen? The people then defy. Now small young girl na Ingo Pantap one day, a vehicle, it said down with Al-Bashir. Today, Al-Bashir day in a prison. But for me, the most disheartening thing where they happen in our country, now the culture of impunity. They don't sack Lahai Lawrence Lima. They don't sack the former IG Suvula. Does that mean they for go scot-free? They should be held accountable under international human rights law. Because at the end of the day, we know say the buck stays with the government, but again, in international law, you can able all individuals them responsible for atrocities that we committed against innocent civilians. Now that make up to this point today, the genocide we happened in Rwanda in 1994, there's still the old individuals them for let them be accountable. So to me, that is very important. And the lesson them, the achievements same way I seen that the Sierra Leoneans are resilient. I remember why I want to go for the elections. People that say, oh, Berete, you're not afraid, you don't go on TV, you don't cause, you don't blast, or that way. I say, you know what? I no need for afraid. I need for go. Before I become any citizen of the diaspora, I'm a Sierra Leonean first. And waiting they happen at Sierra Leone, it affects me in a different way because the young people then they brave the temple run them, who they see them, they die in the Mediterranean, they don't resort to Kushnau country. Nobody wants that. We care about Sierra Leone. And therefore, we have a moral and political responsibility for continue for call out this government and hold them to accountable because the things that we do now in the country is wrong and we should condemn that in no uncertain terms.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Berete. I want to co-host with Sweet Bonita. I get a few questions then for ask you. Please, Sweet Bonita, go ahead.
Well, again, before I just ask this question, let me just try to acknowledge some of our regular viewers. Good evening, Delwyn Tamos, all the way from Northern Ireland. He's with us. Mo Bangura, watching from Reading and Oxford, Berkshire. Hassan Chalo, good evening to you. Hassan is watching from Bristol. We have Valdecay. It says, good evening all. We have David Vandy. And again, Usman Conte watching from East Dulwich in London. We have Fatia Esther Samora. Good evening. And, you know, one of the things before I ask my question here, Comrade Wankasi, and also Mr. Berete, and it has been that the diaspora also will be taking such an act to protest in the diaspora. Because as you last mentioned on your last statement, saying there is one way or the other is affecting you. What do you think the impact will be of the diaspora protests on this issue regarding Sierra Leone? Because again, you said what before you become any other citizens, you were first a Sierra Leonean. Because some of us that go to Sierra Leone, people ask, "Oh, are you not scared? Why do you still come?" So let me know what will be the outcome for the diaspora protesting, where it will lead them to place.
To me, all Sierra Leoneans and friends of Sierra Leone within the diaspora, where they protest for let things and be okay in our country, I think I salute them. I salute them for various reasons. Within Naya, would they get 24-hour electricity? Will they get 24-hour water? At least we'll not say yes, violence day, but at least when something happens, you can able to call 999 or 911 immediately, somebody can show up to come to support you. We don't have that in our country. The other thing in this part of the world, we can go na Trafalgar Square, we go demonstrate there, we do all kinds of statements them, you no get for turn on your shoulder. You can go na Lafayette Park, you can go na Malcolm X Park na Philadelphia, nobody no go turn against you. Now that make, if we care about country, we don't see Sierra Leoneans them, then don't go na The Hague. Sierra Leoneans them don't go to Netherlands. Sierra Leoneans and they plan a demonstration at Brussels. Then don't demonstrate in New York. Then get another demonstration where they come up on the 20th. Na New York, we mother be na the US. Na Canada, we get we own demonstration to the Prime Minister on the 25th of this month. Not to idle. We just want to make sure, say, while Sudan we comfort zone here relatively, we also care about we young people in back home. And then protest there. Even though we have embassies in Sierra Leone, we get diplomatic relations with the world, the rest of the world. Then they know say, or then they send what you call situation reports. But coming out in with hundreds or thousands with placards expressing that genuine concern about country, then go say, you know what? I think it is time for us to pay attention to Sierra Leone, because the least they want now for less Sierra Leone collapse, then they begin get an influx of refugees them like it happened before. And we don't want that. Now that make we think say we have a right. They say put your mouth usa you couple day. Oh day na yasu. Would they transmit money them for help family, friends? Would they help other people them? If things them better for we na Sierra Leone, the pressure will reduce per week. And therefore, it makes sense for them we make sure say, in spite of physical absence in Sierra Leone, we get the moral right, we have the political right for them we hold any government where they are under accountable. And that is just what we are doing. And therefore, it makes sense for them we come out and drum with voices them to the rest of the world that we now know waiting. We don't try. Anytime more people and they demonstrate, anytime more go, they either go shoot tear gas per we, then kill people them, they arrest people them. Nobody no day for hold them accountable. And because of that, we they cry so that the Rome Statute will establish the International Criminal Court who get potential candidates in Sierra Leone. We don't commit the atrocities there. They should be held accountable. I think say that uniform cry what they cry. It make a whole lot of difference, and it should say yes. In the diaspora, we are concerned about human rights, good governance, and democracy back home.
Right, thank you very much. Sid Bonita, you get another question for Mr. Verite?
Yeah, well, I think I just wanted to also acknowledge his concern of saying when diasporas protest, it shows a good dividend, because we saw what happened. The Americans did that. Now there is a travel ban on most of the officials in Sierra Leone, and the UK also did their own protests, which September they've returned back to Parliament. So definitely we'll hear from the UK government But as you mentioned, America having a protest on the 20th, the UK also is doing the same protest, because again, we want to do it simultaneously now that people knows everybody in Sierra Leone are suffering and are coming through the same issue, because we've only got one Sierra Leone. Tribal and political intimidation do not have any parts to play in that country. So definitely we'll work together as a unit. But I also want to say, like, for example, you mentioned about if you are not, for example, being known to the SLPP, whatever you do becomes an issue. Because when you mention about the IG in Port Loco, and which I think that is the rule of engagement when it comes to protest, they are supposed to protect the people, give them drinks, give them food, because they are there. If they were happy, nobody will come out. And I've seen also the protests in Sierra Leone. Either they come out, they don't come out, they will still be arrested. Because there was a sit-at-home protest where people don't go out. People were still arrested. Like, why did you not go out? You should have come out. So it has come to a norm that they just pick on certain people and says, oh, you don't like us, so you are not supporting us, so then we need to arrest you. Because this happened in your area, then you are responsible for it. Because the September 11, we all knew. They've planned everything. People were not going, they just came out outside their communities to show their dissatisfaction. They did not go anywhere to interrupt or to disrupt anything. But yet still, we had the news bulletin saying people were arrested. For what crime? Because they came out. Some of them were not even there, because one of it says they were not even guilty. But yet, they will be arrested because they don't see eye to eye with SLPP. So we are also requesting and asking the international community to stop this madness in our country, because it's not. And if the uprising is to erupt in our country, it will be a different ball game. That's the sad part of it, and that's where I think Sierra Leoneans are heading right now, because people they don't have freedom of information or expression or even association, which nobody can live in such a life. So I think so that's what I want to add so far to this particular.
Okay. Mr. Berity, the protest that we talk about now, so we within the diaspora not expect any policeman to can shoot we. Sadly enough, we see a video where they make rounds on social media where a policeman they tell one of the citizens who they exercise in rights to protest for waiting the happen in the country, that we the citizen come on a jail and they make sure say he hunts that citizen in the back and make sure say he put them down again. That's a very sad situation where we get in the country. And they hope for go protests peacefully, just like how the people in Port Loco, as you mentioned, protest peacefully. Nobody know that, because the AIG with the day was responsible enough for allow the people for express the constitutional rights for protest. And what he gets for that, not to a promotion, but a sack. But the one the way kill, we shoot and kill before, we don't see where they don't promote them. And then they continue for hail them up to this day where they shoot and kill innocent people. And you also rightly mentioned that they not even take them to account for the actions then. For the actions that we don't take. You mentioned Lima, you talk about Sovula, and then they go with impunity with them grievous actions they don't take. There's another video we will show the viewers to make themselves see with their eyes, where the policeman or whoever it is, they tell the boy or something like that, say, Ingo make sure say you hunt and we come on a prison. And then we will take the discussion further from there. Over to you, sir.
I don't declare an jihad war between me and you. And you come on jail back and kill you. As come on jail and kill you. I don't know.
Hey, I'm sitting on what?
Do the talk. You didn't misbehave, man.
As you know, I can see this video. First of all, very sad, and one thing we'll forget in mind now that the last protest, people that were arrested, then sentence them, and then serve them term, and some of them only recently, now them begin to release them, only recently, and I want to take notes that there's a lawyer called BRUTALITY. I think that your relative, something like that.
Yeah, my cousin Musa BRUTALITY, yes.
Musa BRUTALITY, maybe they play an active role in defending those people, the magistrate court. Because me certainly they visit the magistrate court na Pademba Road, and BRUTALITY was the one where I could always the next day where they represent them people in the magistrate court. Then people in there were sentenced. Some of them get 14 months, some of them get 18 months, some of them get 12 months, and then serve the term full after the time where they don't spend them, where they don't spend the time where they arrest them. And some of them just only recently been released after they don't serve their time. So what thing that you note on this particular video where you see, so what's your reaction to that?
That policeman supposed to be in a jail. He has no reason for wear a uniform will represent the Sierra Leone police. He no get reason for all gun because he was very clear. He say you I don't mark your face. Even when you come on a jail, I make sure I kill you. He has no reason, if not a serious country. And this is where I'm gonna call out the Inspector General of Police, Faya Selu, with no apology. That if you should say the motto of the police force, a force for good, this is a test case for you. You know the officers and waiting that truck, the SLP 372, on that very day, when on September 11, 2023, you for able go and find out who another officer they if they behind bars and he should be charged for threatening. Imagine if na be civilian threaten police, una for don't go begin quote all kind of obnoxious law for say, oh, a threatening officer say go kill him, the next thing una they charge him. But this time, from the very poor people and the taxpayers' money, now they maintain the police force. And one of them, because they get the privilege for all a gun, it threaten a poor civilian, say, will kill him. Do we deserve that as a country? You don't see how the young people, they resign themselves to faith and say, have faith in God. That's a very emotional song. It is a way for let una reflect if una get conscience. They are harmless. They are defenseless. Una say they're old stone, they're old placard. And no one they see they arrest somebody for holding a placard in the express. During we own time, una current anti-corruption boss Kefala Ben Kefala, the current Minister of Information and Civic Education, Chernobyl and others, now they constitute what they call the Renaissance movement. Then they go, then they demonstrate, then they wear black. Would they go, would they meet with them, would talk to them? Would they come at the UN for the UN General Assembly, then they demonstrate, then they cost Dr. Anes Kuruma Imama, would they still go meet them? We talk to them. So anybody will get a dissenting view. Now for kill them and threaten them, arrest them, then young people and they are just hustlers. So which means if they not get somebody where they go meet the bail, the next thing they go put them before magistrate. The next thing nobody know they show up for them. The next thing they not go to jail. Why people and all go read the Truth and Reconciliation Commission reports? We say part of the reason where we get a conflict very protracted and vicious in our country, now some of them kind thing there where they happen. Then anybody will talk, you either toe the line or they silence you. Then me no surprise or one castle. You know why? I don't see video where we see presidential guards them. Then they brandish their weapon them. They say then why now for too long, anyone will shake, would they send and go 6 feet. Then some of we will still deal with the trauma. Waiting we do them on the June the 25 within our party office. Waiting we do them for go send tear gas per way. Waiting we do them for go send live bullets them per way. Waiting we do them for say them wire. Then use the B word per way. Then they will show them say yes. That will be the play with them. Waiting we do them. And up to this point, who has been held accountable? Today I deal with that trauma day. The side where I go lay down when they goes first send the tear gas per way. And I know say Sweet Bonita and other people them. One lady in Germany, Cassandra, one other lady, they all day with the old that press conference we want all. We know did it, we not get weapon. Why they attempt to go kill leaders them? Why they go kill that matron, poor matron Dumbuya for winner party office? Then prior to that, a young guy in a Mama Street, just because he wear APC polo, Ishmael Bangura, then kill him. Up to the 10 women they left salon, they still no grief for giving body. So at the end of the day, who is to be held accountable? So this for just continue the visual circle, nobody should take responsibility. That is some of us with frustration. And that make any opportunity to get for condemn and ask, would they do harm against them people there because they're not good for our country, they're not good for Sierra Leone, they're not good way camp and democracy, they're not good for all human rights. And the most frustrating thing, when they give a picture through some of them cheap journalists them and civil society for say, give a picture, a false narrative as if everything is okay in Sierra Leone. That is just not nauseating, but it is very tormenting.
Right. Thank you very much. The question remains, who will be held accountable? Now, Madabio, we na in at the head of this regime because me need to refer to them as a government. Me they call them a regime because they don't lost their legitimacy. They don't transform themselves from de jure governments to a de facto government. So they've now become a regime of gangs where they go around disrespecting the constitution of Sierra Leone and the rights of the citizens. So now a regime may refer to them as. And now the head of this regime, Wina Madabio, the United States right now, the UN General Assembly. You not think say na in for be held accountable, then in go pick you and man the way he send for go do the kind of atrocities there as we do. What think will be the reparation for him?
Of course, then can say the box stays with him. Now in the under him. Now in the appoints we Inspector General of Police. The Vice President in adjust the chairman for the Police Council as provided for in 1991 Constitution. But you know, this culture of impunity, not to today it begin. Madabio not to stranger by impunity. Uda kill Bambe Kamara them. Up to this point, we're not able to get tangible answers them for let them people and they get a closure from that trauma day. the family members are still traumatized because nobody has been held accountable. That culture of impunity should be stopped in our country. We have a constitution. I know say yes, the constitution, we get the judiciary, we are the arbiter of a constitution. But who holds Mother Bio accountable? Now that make, if we're not able to call them out, if we're not able to do anything because we hopeless and they use the military, then they use the guns against the people and voices them. This is where we should all join hands with other progressive forces, both in Sierra Leone and in the diaspora, so that Mother Bio should be held accountable and go able to call it accomplices them. Because at the end of the day, we should nip the culture of impunity in our country if only we are serious about promoting democratic values and ideals. If not, it will just be a vicious circle. So that is where we should, as a matter, of urgency, continue for highlight all the atrocities them, where them why I don't commit, and the divisiveness where they don't bring our country. Look wetin happen Kenema, where they increase the fuel. We see protesters them, then come out. The police go protect them. They not shoot nobody, they not arrest nobody. But when it happened at the Northwest and the Western area, like wetin happen in Potloko, where that officer they not agree do, they're waiting them they expect say for do, they send them indefinite suspension. While as in Kenema, the one that we protect them, they were saluted. So you will see, say, the cherry picking now in ugly in our country. And all this, the box stays na Mother Bio in desk because it don't promote divisiveness in our country. Now I make even way it go from that facade. I can call it facade, that thing where just for the icing of men. It say it establish a peace and reconciliation commission. Then you go and pick somebody. He say now in the head. To me, it's all BS. The man not serious about that. All he care about is for you to call the Machiavellian approach for consolidate itself in power so that he will continue for do the ugly things the way they do because he knows say internally in Sierra Leone, nobody know they for all them accountable. But guess what? We are drumming international support to make sure all those responsible and bear the greatest responsibility for human rights violations in our country should be brought to book and be answerable to the people of Sierra Leone.
Okay, before Sweet Bonita come in for telling the protest in London, before Sweet Bonita come in for tell you about this protest in London, we all know say there's been a case been filed already against Mother Bio at the ICC, and we all obviously don't write Mother Bio a letter. The ICC prosecution team don't write them a letter, say they want for Siam. And in visits in the United States, we get social media reports for see they were all tagged. Then give them tag for monitor the movement, inside and they go, and Mother Bio don't receive another letter highlighting all the accusations with a levy against them. And what's your expectation on this go Mother Bio go so, and what you think could happen? We are just preempting something, but you know, this could be interesting for the viewers them for know what could be your opinion on this particular visit.
You know, I see the SLPP bloggers and accomplices them, then they jubilate, say, Mother Bio don't come to America. Mother Bio never came to the US because they've been banned from going to the US until when he became president. The United Nations Charter. The Charter very clear say, when we don't see people in way they don't even get diplomatic relations with the United States of America, then they allow them for come to the UNGA. We don't see Iranian, then they come at the UNGA. We don't see Cuba then and then they come at the UNG. We don't see Venezuela, then they come at the UNG. So if Marabio come, now just part of the diplomatic nice system where they inside the Charter of the United Nations, where it be say, they say every nation, then they see them equal when it comes to the United Nations. And therefore, when they can they, now UN matters and they attend. But at the end of the day, even granting the visas, the US cannot be compelled by the United Nations to say you need for grant them people their visa because then they cannot the UN. That one is a discretion of the United States government for determining whether then they issue that visa day. So if they get a visa in an entourage, then don't come at the UN. The only disturbing thing for me now, when I listen in meetings and where they all, including the one where go to the American university, they say they force America be they try for twist for let it tell Connor say let not call the result. And that is very undiplomatic on your part. Very undiplomatic. Even if that happened, for let you go public and go say where you not come with any compelling proof or evidence, it is like you shoot yourself now your foot. So I'm waiting forward because at the end of the day, the US Embassy in Freetown, they don't respond, say, they no go respond to that kind of public statements where somebody go make. But when they make such a diplomatic statement, I know because until I be done in the diplomatic field when I was in the foreign ministry, I know the way it can work behind the scenes. So we dey wait and see. So with all the hype, with and deeper right now, giving a picture as if everything is rosy in Sierra Leone, where people in the suffer, people in the struggle, forget a daily living. 30 days, the minimum wage there at 800,000 leones a month. The bag of rice is almost 800,000 leones. The people are not able to send them, pick them. We see Juba Bridge, we see the young folks, then they smoke kush. Then they virtually rubbish the future of the young people in our country. And you are here in the US, they speak grammar, they give the impression, say everything rules in our country. I just want me to sit down and reflect, say, if na million picking them, then they under that bridge, then me they make speeches, then and they give that kind of picture, how it will feel. Where is the empathy? Where is the conscience? To me, the issue between the US and Madabio, between the ICC and Madabio, it's a question of wait and see until we see how things they unfold. But the bottom line here is we will continue to call for people to be held accountable for the atrocities Sierra Leoneans don't deserve, and therefore people should be held accountable for that. That is my bottom line.
Thank you very much. Maybe Sweet Bonita will come in because we say that the UK, you don't mention, say we get protests in Canada and other parts of the world. I believe, say, Sweet Bonita will get a few details of we own protests where they happen in the UK. Maybe Sweet Bonita will talk to you about that. Over to you, Sweet Bonita.
Yeah, just appealing to all citizens of Sierra Leone, concerned Sierra Leoneans, to come out on the 20th of September. That's on Wednesday, because we know definitely there's going to be some snacks. It's a walk from Elephant and Castle down to St. John. So please, 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 we are appealing, because this particular protest is in collaboration with the APC. APC is literally being the lead of it has never happened